Hi everybody, Mountain Grandma here. My name is Tammy and welcome to our channel. I have been called out by Gail Southern Living for the Prepping Library Challenge that's hosted by Charles over at Bushcraft Family. So what is an herbalist to do? I'm sharing the best beginner herbalist books that I have in my library, along with some clinical emergency preparedness books and foraging books. I hope you all enjoy, and let's go ahead and get started. Now, these first two books are really great preparedness books: survival medicine, emergency medical procedures for the home and auto. And I'll just kind of flip through here and let you guys take a look at them. You can see here, this book is quite thick. It talks about sterilizing your supplies. It does have a little section on essential oils. It has some information on transporting subjects. It has a whole section on insects. It has a section on dental issues. I mean, it really gets into the weeds. It's not an herbal book per se, but it does have some information on that. It has information on handling, grid down, you're running into sewage issues. How do you handle that? Food poisoning, infections. And you can see just all kinds of neat information in here. Very clinically driven. A lot of also information related to first aid, which I like. So a great reference book. And even some extra stuff like wildfire preparedness, earthquakes, allergic reactions, poison ivy, oak and sumac, and things that can treat it. Radiation sickness, wound closure, a lot of great stuff in this book. This is the Survival Medicine Handbook by Joseph Alton. And I picked this one up at a yard sale. It has a lot of algorithms for treating certain things, diabetic emergencies. And what I mean by an algorithm is, it asks you questions, yes or no, and kind of takes you to the next step. And some of these things can be, serious issues, see, like CPR. So, just a great little emergency book to have. So those are the first two. Moving on. I'm sharing with you some foraging book. I had this one when I was in Arizona, Medicinal Plants of the Mountain West by Michael Moore. This is awesome. But I keep it still because, some of these plants are over here I'm in Missouri now. So some of them are out here. So great little book. Has a lot of information, pictures of the different stages of a plant's development, and medicinal information related to that. And then I picked up one local to my area, right? Midwest Medicinal Plants. Love this book. Just love it, love it. Love all the colorful pictures. So I would suggest everybody have a foraging plants book. And I'm going to add to that. See here, I got this Missouri's Wild Mushrooms. I just think mushrooms are so valuable, but they can also be very dangerous. So great to have a book to have a very clear identification of these mushrooms before you try to consume or use them in any way. But this is a great book, and I know you can find other ones like this out there for different states. Okay, moving on to the herbal ones. Y'all ready? I know some folks, that's what they're waiting for. Before I go into those, you gotta have one of these, okay? Gotta have one of these, guys. Safety. You need to know your herb contraindications and drug interactions. So, very important. There's a lot of these out there. Just make sure you get one. And recently, I'm going to call out these two books. I recently got this one, this Herbal Gut Health, which is awesome. I really like this. And it's not, like, if you don't have any, gut health problems and you think you're good, get it anyways. Because if you're going to be helping your family, this is just, you know, a common thing. And you might find from reading it that there are some benefits to staying on top of your own gut health, even if you think you're good. So you can see there's also recipes throughout here, which I think everybody would love. It talks about gut repair, covers a lot of things like acid reflux, ulcers, gastritis, leaky gut, IBD, SIBO. And then it also has information on the individual herbs themselves. I think there's even a little bit in here on parasites. I saw oregano. I don't know if they talk about, I can't remember if they talk about parasites in particular, but back here in the back, there's, you can see I've got pages marked, but there's different, you know, information on making things, reference for, see, look here, herbal vinegar, herbal glycerite, dried plant tincture, kind of goes through that. So these two books and adaptogens, you see all the little space markers? I reference this guy a lot because I'm feeling like in the world that we live in, that's so stressful, we need something to help us handle stress. So in anybody that I'm helping with, you know, herbally to help themselves, I'm suggesting to them something for their gut health and some kind of an adaptogen to help them deal with stress, because it just feels like we all need these things. Okay, moving on. Oh, and by the way, adaptogens, it's by David Winston with Stephen Mames. So another thing I just want to call out is you need to find a book on whole foods. If you are going to be trying to naturally help anybody, you need to learn about food as medicine. So I love this book. I actually have several books on nutrition and using foods as medicine, healing foods. Google that. You'll get some good ones. This is a really fun one because it also combines the information from a TCM perspective, traditional Chinese medicine, in case you don't know what that means. 6 divisions of yin and yang. So it talks about the way that you look at medicine. It breaks it down into excess and deficiency, or some people, we might refer to that as repletion and vacuity, but also gives you like details on protein and all of your macros and how they're good for you. Like, see, the section I have marked is on cleansing the heart and arteries, brain and nerve renewal. And this is in the oils and fats section. So there's lots of great sections to this book. Look here, it's a whole section on calcium. And of course, there's information in here on herbs and things too, but maybe herbal foods kind of things. Food for children. I mean, just so many great things. Stomach and intestines, blood disorders, cancer and the regeneration diets, other degenerative disorders, vibrational cooking. And then there's recipes too. There's recipes. And then it gets into a vegetable by vegetable, breakdown of how good they are. It includes vegetables like Jerusalem artichoke. You don't always find those when we're talking about food. So more recipes. Just a great book. So this is another one. Food is medicine. It's a thing, guys. It really is a thing. All right, moving on. I got to call out Rosemary Gladstar's Medicinal Herbs. When it says a beginner's guide, it's not kidding. It is so beginner friendly. And even as an herbalist with experience, you can find value in this. And I love that she knows everybody wants to know, like, okay, so they do this. How do I use them? How do I use this herb that you said does this or that? And she includes great recipes in here, great pictures. You can never go wrong with printing in color, I'm telling you. So see here, just recipes throughout, which really, and granted, they're not, complex formulas, but things don't always need to be complex, right? And they're beginner-friendly recipes. Here's one on aloe. If you've watched my channel, I've got a couple videos on aloe. Love aloe. Yeah, so anyways, this is a great book. It's also not very expensive. You can pick it up for like $10 on Amazon. All right. Another book that I bought many, many years ago, and I still just think it's fun and I keep it. It's the 10 Essential Herbs. It's probably one of the first herbal books that I got. And see the 10 Essential Herbs? Basically, it lists out cayenne, chaparral, which is in Arizona a lot, cloves, comfrey, garlic, ginger, onion, peppermint, slippery elm, yarrow, and then it gives you a recipe for people's paste. It's, for this book. And then talks about honey, travel kit guide, echinacea, just some great information. And here I'll show you. Chaparral, for example, it breaks out all of the benefits of it, treating alcoholism, anemia, antibiotic. You can see this is in alphabetical order. Blood poisoning, arteriosclerosis. It'll include this tasel. They give case studies of, how they've used it or heard about it. So it's a storytelling kind of thing too, speaking to experience with it and the type of people that they had used this on. And we're still on chaparral, guys. Look, parasites, lymph, pests and animals. And it does this for everyone. Moving on to cloves, comfrey, garlic, and just has, you see all the pages. It just gives you loads of information along with recipes as it talks about it. See, here's another tasel, it calls it. And it tells a little story about how they used this herb. It does that for every herb. There'll be multiple tasels. See, here's another one. So just a great beginner's book. It was one of my beginner books, and I kept it. See, that says something, right? Another one, if you're curious about traditional Chinese medicine, Heal Yourself with Traditional Chinese Medicine. This is an incredible book. I really love it. It really breaks down, the 5-element framework, breaks down the nitty-gritty, if you will, talks about the heart system, just briefly gives you an overview. And I like, you see I've got this page marked. I like that it shares, let me see if I can get this closer so you guys can see without shading it. It shares with you the meridians. These are like acupuncture / acupressure meridians, which kind of, when you get into TCM, I saw this and I was like, oh, okay. Pattern diagnosis. There we go. That's the word. Pattern diagnosis. To identify what herbs would be best for somebody. I just thought this was helpful to actually see these meridians. You'll see what I mean when you get into it. But, yeah, talks about all kinds of stuff. And I really like this book. And then it breaks down each, problem that someone might have. Alphabetical order, anxiety, arthritis. Just a great book. I don't think I paid that much for it either. It is by Dr. Lily Choi. Traditional Chinese Medicine. Okay, moving on. The next book, couple of books, are these guys. And I like these because they have a strong medicine-making application to them. And you can see I've got some pages marked here. What did I mark? Oh, looks like I think I was looking into Linden at the time. What else did I mark? Look here. Antifungal formulas, see those recipes? So these recipes are very well thought recipes. And sometimes they pull them in. I'm trying to think if they reference this book or the other book. They'll reference like whose recipe this is. There's no need to reinvent the wheel sometimes. I mean, you want it to be patient specific, but they're great tools for looking at recipes. And then this one, same thing. Look at this, blood sugar metabolism compound, herbal medicine. I just opened it up to this page. I love that it tells you the profile. It gives you the recipe, and then it tells you the why. What does that herb do? And that's what you need to do. You need to understand why herbs are in a formula. It's the only way that you're going to be able to make sure that it's a formula that's appropriate for somebody based on their constitution. So this is another great book. Yeah. And that's Herbal Medicine from the Heart of the Earth by Cheryl Tilgner. And The Modern Herbal Dispensatory, a Medicine Making Guide by Thomas Easley. All right, I've got 2 more to share here. 2 more books to share and then we're done. These are some newer books that I bought. Well, actually this one, my daughter got this and told me to check it out and see what I think. Because I guess this is going around a lot and being shared. And it has all kinds of, it's just loaded with recipes. I didn't see anything wrong with them. Look at this, just loaded with recipes. A lot of the recipes are easy recipes, but again, we're talking about a beginner herbalist's book collection, and this looks pretty nice. I mean, from what I've seen, looks pretty nice. I kind of like it. I think it's fun. It's like, you know, looking at cookbooks, right? For some people. I enjoy seeing other people's recipes and what they suggest, but it's a lot of singles. I will put that out there. And what I mean by that is they're just telling you how to take each individual herb. And sometimes it's not always appropriate to do that until you get back here and you can see there's more like food stuff. And I love food as medicine. I'm a big fan of food as medicine. So all kinds of recipes in this book for foods, drinks, how to take some of those herbs. Yeah, just a really great book. I really like that one. And then this was gifted to me by Penny Ortiz. Thank you, Penny. And this is the Native American Encyclopedia of Herbs. I enjoy not just studying Western herbalism, but also studying, you know, traditional Chinese medicine. And I enjoy studying Ayurveda. And I also enjoy reading about our Native Americans and how they used herbal medicine. So this is this book, and it tells you a little bit about how the Native Americans used the herbs. So just a fun one to add to your library. All right. Well, that concludes all of them, guys. I guess I've pretty much shared with you all these books here. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, drop them down in the chat. If you have any of these books and there's one that's your favorite, let me know. I just couldn't pick. There's too many. I like them all. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you have a great rest of your week. And I hope until I see you next time, y'all keep your joy, folks.